Well, hello everybody. Welcome to week 5. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed last week watching your movies. Sorry for those of you who chose Star Wars for some reason, but I'm going to talk about Megamind a little bit. If you haven't seen Megamind, I do recommend that you watch it. It's on IMDb TV, and it's free right now, even if you didn't do the essay on it. It's a great story, honestly. If you have a little brother or little sister, have you ever had the laundry mixed up and then you started putting on some clothes and you realized these things are way too small and you looked at it and it belonged to your little brother or little sister? Maybe. Maybe you were just joking around and tried putting on one of their shirts or something like that, just to goof off, which is fine. But imagine if you did something like that every single day. You put on clothing that was 4 or 5 sizes too small, and then you're like, why isn't this working? It doesn't fit, and you get frustrated, and then the next day you do the same thing. That's kind of, dumb. But I think sometimes we do that with our lives, not necessarily with clothing. We keep trying to be somebody that we're not meant to be, and we keep trying it on. Right? And we've talked about earlier in the year, like middle school is definitely a time where we try that out. We try being someone different to fit in. And it just doesn't work. It's like putting on the wrong size of clothing every day. Instead, we listen to what we think we should be. We listen to what some other people think we should be. And we forget to listen to what our Creator has made us to be. And the movie Megamind actually reminds me a lot of that. I'll give you an example from my wife. She had told me that her whole life she had been told, keep your hands to yourself. Don't push, don't hit, don't fight. But she's a violent person. Not like in an I need to hurt you type of violent way, not mean, but aggressive. She likes to use her body. She likes hitting things. So when she was 25, she found a friend that was in a kickboxing class, and she's like, "Oh, I'd love to join you for this kickboxing class." They went to the kickboxing class, and it's like she was in her element, right? She was punching things and kicking things and really enjoying it. So then she was sparring with her friend for the first time, and she hit her friend in the spar and stopped and said "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to." And when she was in the middle of saying that, her friend kicked her off of her feet and then hit her. And my wife got up and she said, "This is exactly what I've been waiting for." And she had a big smile on her face, and she was super happy. She could finally play the way that she'd always wanted to play. She was filled with joy. She could finally relax and just enjoy herself with a friend doing what she had always wanted to do. She'd found her element. The clothing fit right. And that's just kind of a simple example. I've got friends who've done similar things where they didn't know what they were going to do with their lives, and then they had an opportunity to go on a mission trip, and then they realized, wow, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I've been meant to do. Others, it was a different type of job. It wasn't necessarily something in the ministry. Maybe they got a job working at a restaurant or something. Yeah, actually I do. I have someone that was the case. They didn't think they would like it, but it was their element. They loved it. It's what they were meant to do. And working in that restaurant, they loved serving other people, meeting new people, talking with new people during their meals. And that's what they were meant to do. With the story of Megamind, you've got a couple of characters, mainly Megamind, Metro Man, and Hal. And they all think they're meant to be doing one thing, and they're trying on the wrong thing, and it just doesn't work until the end. A lot of things get wrapped up through the character of Roxanne. She's kind of the voice of wisdom, and she helps people realize, look, this is what you were meant to do. And a lot of that was surrounded by serving others and not thinking of self at all. So things just don't fit right until they found their right place. Metro Man he was motivated by approval of people. And like he grew weary because the people were never satisfied. And so he thought that was his identity, was, well, as long as other people are content with me. But that it didn't fit. Hal, he wanted Roxanne, and he was very possessive. He might have said that he loved her, but he didn't. He just wanted to own her, basically. He didn't have any interest in her interests or anything like that, and he ended up pushing her away, doing the things he thought that she would like, but he never took the time to consider what she actually liked. And then Megamind, of course, he was starving for love, for companionship, and in being bad, he found this companionship. It was just the wrong kind. And so he was seeking relationship and trying to find that fulfillment through relationships. And in reality, we were meant for relationship, but it is supposed to be done in the right way. Otherwise, it can be pretty damaging. It goes back to the garden. Everything goes back to the garden, actually. Adam and Eve, they're made to be in relationship with God, to work the ground, to work with the animals, to create and cultivate. And the snake comes in, and the snake says, no, this is what you were made for. You were made for something different than this. Try this out. You're missing out on something. And it led to death and destruction and despair, brokenness in relationships. And this is one of the main reasons why Jesus entered into our space, was to restore what had been lost, to remind us of what we were made for. And if you watch the movie, like, listen and watch Roxanne, to Roxanne, and the things that she says and the things she does. She loves unconditionally. She doesn't have any expectations first. She just simply loves those around her, and she serves them. She's considering others first. And I think when we do that, we find the greatest amount of satisfaction. The joy of putting others first, of being loved and returning love in the way that puts others first. That's what we were meant for. And so I challenge you, it's a challenge for me as well this week, to find my place, to love and to serve, and to honestly to pray and ask God to show us our true selves. The Bible tells us that we've been bought with a price. Christ redeemed us for himself so that we could be made into the humans that he created us to be. So instead of seeking out love, relationships, identity, and all these other things, seek him and pray and ask him to reveal to you, like, what was I made for? You guys have so many different amazing talents and gifts. If you really just talk to the people that love you the most, like your parents, and your closest friends, and ask them, like, who am I? What am I made for? They'll help you discover that. But obviously your creator is the one that knows best who you are. And Jesus says you're the greatest when you're serving others. Power and position ultimately don't matter if it's trying to serve self. And so I challenge you guys to do that. There's one of your readings in Matthew is about the coin, and the Pharisees come up and they ask Jesus, do we pay taxes or not? And Jesus kind of flips it around and says, whose image is on this coin? And they're like, Caesar's. So pay taxes to Caesar, but give to God what is God's. And he's reminding us that we are created in the image of God. Like, we are to be given to him. He's the one that imprinted himself on us, like Caesar's image was imprinted on that coin. He's the one that made us and formed us and knows us. Instead of pushing him away and plugging our ears to what he has for us, I challenge you guys to listen and to give yourself to him. You were created in his image, so give to God what is God's. All right. See you guys later.